Greetings, mortals. I am Nathas, the ruler of the underworld, and Merry Christmas, mortals. I hope you all had fun unwrapping your presents and have been celebrating that Santa Claus has eaten all your cookies and milk. After all, that is surely the thing that matters the most on Christmas Day, isn't it? But, you know, there's something that I think goes under my a lot on December 25th, and that's of course people who are born on it. As we all know someone who's either been in school with us or a co-worker or someone who was fortunately born and poetically and spiritually on December 25th. And the world of manga and cartoons and anime and comic books and all that fiction is no exception to people being born on that day. And one such character is Kufufu from Shy, or as how the English translation of her name is, or at least the one that's in the manga, Kekerakera. Oh, I know this name is supposed to be some kind of Japanese meaning to him, but that's just a weird name. So for everyone's sanity, I'm just gonna refer to her as Kufufu, because I'm pretty sure the anime is Kufufu. Am I crazy to think that her name in the anime is Kufufu? Because I'm pretty sure that's what they say. I maybe need to recheck again the anime, but I'm pretty sure in the anime, Japanese, they say Kufufu. Or Kufufu. It's U silent, I think U silent. Well, regardless. Today is her birthday, and happy birthday to Kufu and all the other anime characters who have their birthdays on December 25th. And for her, birthday and Christmas present, we'll be talking about one of her favorite people in the world, and that's of course Tzveta or Lenya, the mother of Pasha and in the fandom, her grandmother. So, and as well as the fact that the anime is ended this week, and I think it's, symbolically nice. And Russian, funny enough. So yeah, let's finally go into Lenya. Now, let's start with Lenya's backstory, or Tweta's backstory. I'll try to keep it, when I'm talking about Lenya, I'm going to, Lenya as she was in the past, Lenya, and then in the present I'll use Tweta. But anyways, Lenya started her life, well, not really start her life, she ended up, when she was a child, in an orphanage. And she was a relatively reserved child during that time period. Like, she didn't talk much. Like, she had a friend, and it's not like she was kind of, but she was still kind of outcast because of the more reserved nature that she wielded. And she did have a fun time in the orphanage and did like it as it's listed when she's Tzveta that she does love the orphanage. Unfortunately for her, fortunately, I feel like unfortunately is more proper to say considering how the backstory ends up playing. She didn't get adopted for one, and for two, after she became 18 and had no reason to stay there, she left to go to live in a city that's nearby. Unfortunately for her, and while that all started well enough, like she got an apartment and she got pregnant with Pasha, which is waifu of the Shy universe, the prime one. She things did not go well because unfortunately she was in the time period of the Great Recession, or where there was financial crises. Not certain that was a thing, because not certain if that was a thing, but I mean I heard of Americans recession, but I'm not certain if Russia had one, but they probably had. I mean, I would not be surprised if they have. It's even taken I think in the time period where it makes sense, but whatever. She was doing that time period, and since she technically had like no real background information, which is a problem, even stated, funny enough, before the main battle with her by her only friend in the orphanage, that since there was no background, there wasn't really no way we can bounce on. So when the reception hit, she kind of had to go from job to job to job, getting fired at the end of like at most months, and even more unfortunately, she had Pasha, which means she had to not only take care of herself but also Pasha. Far as not mentioned, it's not really clear. I'm guessing it was so it would not get overboard with tragedy, as Siamese like to go overboard. So we don't know what happened to her father. We just know that Pasha was born with Lina when she presumably was just entering the world. Not literally. I mean, entering the world as in going into cities and working there. And doing that backstory, we really do get like this. It's very clear how tragic it is because the way the anime does, especially, really hits you with how like Lanya during it isn't really like doesn't really object to anything. She very much keeps everything into herself. Like it's like one of those where you have an outburst and it's a problem. Like no, she throughout the entire thing, she's clearly. I understand. I don't blame you, but I'm a. Like she doesn't even voice that She doesn't even try to negotiate things. She kind of just like, yes, I understand. I'll quit at the end of the month, and understand. I will have. I. It's. I've waited. I pull off not paying rent for way too long, I will bring you the money. Because even like she understands, like even the owner, the person owning the place that she lived in, was saying, "Don't try to make me a monster here," because owner probably knows that Pasha, everyone's in crisis. You have a child, I understand, but don't think and just I'm just gonna let you squat here. She understands, but Leia doesn't really try to argue. She's very reserved. And one time when after I think she just kind of, kind of, I don't think she fell asleep. I think she just kind of was, too focused on finding a new job. Pasha came and Layla understood it as, oh, you are hungry. I must feed you. And she prepared the soup and she gave it, but Pasha didn't eat it. She first thought that she was being picky because, again, like, it's like one of those things where the soup seems to have been like the only thing they've been eating for a while. It's kind of like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, where the only thing Charlie and his family ate for like who knows how long was just cabbage soup, which I don't think is actually a health. Or to be fair, Pasha ate onion soup, but I don't think it's actually healthy to eat the same thing too many times because doesn't it like lead to some kind of digestion problem where you end up barfing or something? I don't know. I mean, I don't know why, but I remember that a lot of times I like barfed because I ate the same thing too many times in a row in times. Maybe it's like more of it's a complicated thing. Maybe it's if it's soup you can eat it as many times as you want without some digestive problem. But regardless, Pasha didn't want to eat it, and Lila. The only time when Lila actually did like get angry and like I'm also not exactly happy. I'm not. It's not. I can do anything about it. Is no. She doesn't say that to Pat. She just says, "Eat that." Like we don't. I can give you because one thing she remembers is flashback. We also sees that a lot of things that Pasha was drawing with her crayons was her mother happy as well as like a cake and some other stuff. Children's drawings. But Lila said to herself, "I can give you that." Like she wants Pasha to be happy, but she can't provide it. And when she screamed that you have to, yeah, you can't be picky or anything like that, uh, brings Pasha to tears and Pasha voices what she thinks and saying, "You haven't eaten anything for so long, and I'm so sad." And again, Pasha was a lot more reserved as a child, like a lot more like a mother when she was a child than what she is now. Like now she's constantly like drinking, happy, yeah, I'm happy kind of deal situation, and it's kind of a good kind of contrast. So in after that outburst, Lila feels very bad about it, and it's kind of another thing about her is that in the past she blames herself for past situation. Like if she wasn't around, she would just be sent to an orphanage and be happy because that's where Lila was the most happy when she was a child in the orphanage. Going back to the main villain group's thing where it's everything's bad when you're a child, or at least everything it can be, it's gonna be treated bad when you're a child. So Lila goes around, tries to see if she can get, I think just to see if she can buy a dessert, something small. They don't have money, but because of the hour, she feels very guilty and wants to, give get something. Now, luckily and unluckily, more likely, is that the shop owner, that baker that she was in, kind of knew her situation, knew the reasons. Like he saw her. Like again, it's kind of pretty much Pasha and was like sent to go in the orphanage while Lila was working because Lila couldn't get a babysitter. Like that's like she was like spending whole days working wherever she could, finding a job, working there as long as possible and Basha needed to be somewhere. Someone needed to babysit her, but she can't pay for a babysitter. So Lila was just, okay, Basha, you go to the orphanage and stay. Like they said, it's okay. It's great and all. And after the bakery, she goes home and just maybe there is still some hope. There's some hope. Like the baker was nice. He just said the only thing he wants in return is me coming and telling how much how Pasha liked it. But unfortunately for her, one homeless man that was next to the bakery was very frustrated and pissed off because he was sitting like right next to the bakery and he was like asking for money because he's homeless. And Pasha, well, Lila completely ignored that. Honestly, I don't even actually ignore that. I think she was kind of too deep in the thoughts to even see the guy. That's how I interpreted the whole thing. And she went in and out, and she was getting kicked. So he assumed that she was a rich. Well, he literally calls her a bitch. I mean, I can't judge it. He literally calls her a bitch, rich bitch that would rather buy cake for herself than giving some money to the homeless. So he decided that the right thing to do would be to steal her purse, shove her off, push her. Well, I don't think he intentionally pushed her off. The way he said it was more like, "Oh, you deserve this, you rich bitch." So I kind of get impressed, like he, hit her, took her purse, and and unfortunately, because he hit her, because it was like I'm assuming he wanted to hit her somewhere when there's no one. He's not like following. Oh, he's not like stalking her. In all honesty, the whole time, as he hit her, and then she fell in off the bridge into the water, freezing cold. Remember, this is not only just Russia, but it was also. I mean, it was also during winter. The way that everything looked was kind of like again, it's kind of difficult to say because it's Russia, but it kind of looks like it was like in the middle of winter to me. And she filed in, and this is a woman who hasn't been eating for a while, probably overworked, had bangs on her eyes, and she was thrown into the sub-zero frozen water. I think she even hit in the anime. I think they even. I'm not sure about manga, but in the anime, I think she even hit her head on in one of the stones when she was falling, like kind of an in kicking at that hose already kind of deal. She was falling and then she was being frozen over. And yeah, you can guess what. She was frozen and dying and everything's over. The worst part is I don't even think the guy even took the cake. I think he just took took her purse. Well, he took her bag and the cake left the cake on the ground and he just kind of left the whole thing and yeah, Lila died there. And while she's dying her last moments, any that hope that she still had, like that Baker gave her, completely gone. Like the only good thing at that point for her was that Pasha will at least now have a reason to go live in the orphanage, so she'll be happy there. Like that's again, she kind of was like she was during the flashback. She considers no, she doesn't consider killing herself, but she is definitely toying with the idea of if I wasn't there, Basha would be happily living in an orphanage. So she's happy about that, and then she just it gets frozen. Now we find out that I believe the main character's sister actually was in the area and saw her. Unfortunately, she couldn't save her. Like she managed to put her. I don't know if she immediately saved her. I think it might have been a little bit of a different area because like maybe it was like the other side of the area. I'm forgetting how exactly it looked, but I think it was not exactly the same area. I think it was like one of those she saw a person's body in the water, and then she went in and saved her, but well, not saved her. She brought the body out, and again, freezing waters, covered from head to toe. I'm pretty sure there was even some part of the body was frozen. Not a big part, but like certain parts of her body were even frozen on top of. And she was dead. Like, you can't do anything. She was beyond recovery. And the worst part is the Pasha even, I think, heard it? I don't know. I mean, it seemed like that was like an immediate, someone immediately saw it and just kind of crowding around because, someone's mom was frozen over and dead. And somehow Pasha heard that and she ran towards her because that's her mother. And Pasha, because again, like no one knew that old homeless man did that. I think the explanation was like, oh, because of the situation and because her daughter would go into an orphanage if she died. The logic was she killed herself so her daughter can go live in an orphanage or something. Like Pasha thinks that her mom might have hated her. That's why she killed herself because Pasha is happy as long as her mother is with her. Like that's what makes her the happiest kind of deal. So I'm kind of questioning. I also think there was some letters or something that kind of was suggestion that that might have been the reason. Basically, the explanation was there is not enough evidence that any kind of anything bad, any kind of woman was outside woman was involved in her death. She was in a situation where she would definitely prefer one to die, or at least there was a motive why she would die, and that was just considered. I mean, granted, I would question about the purse and all that type of stuff. I mean, even if the old man didn't keep it on him, he probably would have either sold it on some market or something, or he would have, just thrown it off. Like what? So I mean, again, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, again, even if they found it, I don't think the purse would have had any kind of lead. Like, it does not really matter. Like, that's not the purpose. This isn't a revenge quest. And it's not even like the guy. Again, it's not like the guy's in the. I mean, the guy was frustrated, overreacted, and clearly probably had a rough day. It probably wasn't even Lila wasn't even like probably the first who just kind of walked in past him. She was probably just the one where he snapped kind of deal. So she just kind of got the raw end. And she died. Now, the story happens, and the main villain noticed that Pasha, one of the heroes, or spirit as she goes by, is wishing that her mother would be back. I mean, even though it's been years and years and all that, you still want to. Like, you don't want to. Again, they didn't leave the things at best terms, so Spirit wanted her mother, and Stigma, the main villain, saw that and was like, well, time for a little necromancy action, shall we? And he necromancied Lila back to life as Tzveta in the North Pole for a trap, as she is there to attack the heroes. And that's where we first time see Tzveta in the North Pole attacking Pasha, uh, Shai, and I'm forgetting the Chinese guy's name right now, but she attacks them. And in that and there they knew that it's Stigma, the powers and everything. They knew it was Stigma, but there was something weird about her. Like there was no ring, and even the way she talked was very weird. Like other people who were under the influence of Stigma were like crazy berserk monsters. Like they were rampaging. They become kind of demonic looking. But she looked, I mean, underdressed for the occasion, especially because that's I'm gonna say 14-year-old. I think that's a fair age. Although I'm going to assume that Pet Sato is supposed to be a 14. Lana was resurrected as a 14-year-old. So it's Tzveta resurrected, and the only thing she wore, most likely the only thing she wore, was a winter coat. Like the one that Gaten wears in My Academia. Like she just wore that. Like Probably nothing. I mean, we know she was nude in the ice sculpture in the North Pole, but we do not. But I don't think we have to debate in how much she was wearing, or how much stigma brought her. But anyways, they have a little conflict there, and something that, but there's not very, it's not an over the top detail of fight. Regardless, Pasha gets Tzveta down and tries to find out who she is or what's going on. But Pasha, well, Tzveta starts to get her memories back, or her past starts coming back into play as she refers to Pasha, well, as Pasha. That's her nickname, the name that she referred to. I just referred to her Pasha, referred to her daughter subconsciously, and that kind of, you know, rose spirits, well, Pasha's reaction because wait, no one, not there are not that many people who refer to me as just Pasha. So that kind of gives her an opening where Zeta is able to stab her and freeze her over, and just this Chinese guy hero and Shy. They're able to overcome Tzveta because the dragon has like a sleeping ability, so one hit and she falls asleep deals and she's defeated. Another thing is that Tzveta gets kind of like a desire for Shai's flame powers and kind of foreshadowing for the future stuff. And they have her asleep, just get spared out. And unfortunately, Stigma was watching the whole thing, and another member of America was watching, and we get, getting Tzveta out, escaping, and all that stuff. Now, due to the weird name, the similar design as a child, like not exactly, but similar, it's very clear there's some connection between Spirit Pasha and this girl. So, Tzveta and, well, so Shy and now there's a bit of a time skip here because Tzveta at that time meets Kufufu and they become, we'll get into relationships, but they meet each other and they team up to go do the whole create Tzveta's world. They go there and at the same time as Pasha and Shy go there and they all encounter each other and they start a battle where at the beginning they don't know who each other is still. They're wondering why. All they can say is, Tzveta looks like Pasha's mother. Why do you look like that? And it seems like Stigma revealed some aspects about her past because when she's called out, like, why do you look like Mama? Tzveta's reaction is like, Mama, is that what I was to you? Like, implying that she knew that she was a de-aged 31-year-old. And yeah, they have a fight, the backstory is revealed, everything is, all the secrets are unraveled, and when all these secrets are unraveled, this is where she's at not only at her strongest, but also is convincing Spirit to join her. Makes me kind of wonder if she would be DH as well, since, kind of weird having a daughter that's older than the mother, but regardless, Spirit is really down because she knows what happened to her mother. She got the backstory. She never hated her. She loved her. It's just that circumstances were not good. And Spirit is down. But Shy, being the MC, shows up, brings and inspires Pasha to fight again. And they fight. And they are able to reach Tzveta's heart and reawaken it. And Tzveta basically surrenders, I want to say. Not defeat, but surrenders is more proper to say it. And then when Pasha and Tzveta finally, Lilac reconsider, Kufa jumps in to try to, still continue, like, revive that, fix the heart, let's call it, the Amarioku, Tzveta's country, because if she doesn't, she'll die. And Kufa even tries to reason, "You'll die if we don't do anything." But Tzveta, after everything and reuniting with her daughter, getting a better understanding, just tells her, "It's fine. I'm alright. Go back to him. It's fine." And Kufufu then has like again a very nicely done scene where Kufufu is like really upset about it. Like it's clear those two won't they won't just assign together. It's not. It's clear this was deeper to foreshadow Kufu's story and all that. As Kufu is all sad, like, but if we don't sad about leaving, and she also says she's not gonna say goodbye. And yeah, then we have like a bit of a like restoration. Everything's done. Like the enemy is disappeared. The other one surrendered. So basically, we just have the dramatic scene where Pasha and Delilah talk together, drink vodka together because that's like one of their dreams they both shared. Was that when Pasha was an adult, they would share a glass of vodka, and they that they part Pasha starts Tzveta starts disappearing, and emotional moments. People were everyone who had a brain and watched Shy was crying. Seriously, watch Shy. It's a very good series. It's basic. It's similar to My Academia, but more. I would say it's clearly that there's a more story focused on it. So yeah, it's a good series. Watch it. It's great. And yeah, they she disappears and she leaves. It's revealed that they do have rings. Not sure, but I don't know where they keep them. But American crew members do have rings. Just they are not something you can just like take off and put on. It's just like you can do it with the other men, with the normal people getting them. And bash, and that's it. And that's where Tzveta dies again. No, let's. I'll no. There are a few times that Tzveta does appear. Like it's not like this is the end of her character. It's just these are not manga spoilers. In the manga, she is not only brought up a few times between Kufu and Pasha. In fact, there's gonna be a big moment in I think part 2 of season 1 of Shy. That's what I understand at least. Uh, go on Reddit. There's some post about it. Go on Shy Reddit. There is someone that questions about the episodes and all that. It's revealed that Goofufu and Papasha kind of got clicked together, let's say. And then we also have the ring being brought up. Like Goofufu uses Lila's ring a bit, and then even further manga spoilers because this isn't even translated in English yet. This ring is given to Pasha to use because during that time she didn't have her superhero bracelets on. Not gonna go into it again. Not gonna try to keep a spoil vague. And we also see it in Kufu's country that she saw the necromancer Lila. Not as no, it's not exactly. It's Tzveta, but it seems like Tzveta as in like a friend group. Like if America was just a friend group that were fishing together, playing together, and that type of stuff. So with all that, does make me kind of wonder if we are again going to go with the necromancy to be more like some kind of, final showing how uh, insane the final villain is, like some Eldritch abomination type of situation, like maybe creating like a more literal corpse, like Stigma creating a more literal corpse of Tzveta to like again attack or something like the final battle, like the final group versus the heroes kind of deals. I'm not entirely certain because Kufufu can work just as well for Pasha, so I don't know why she would go up against her. I guess you could say Shy and Tzveta could fight, but I don't really think it was that deep. Like there was some stuff. Like I'm not saying that Shy was completely irrelevant. Like I joke on one YouTube comment that Shy is based in the fight between Tzveta, Kufu, Pasha, and herself was kind of like the friend who just came into a family squabble at the wrong time. But Tzveta, but I don't think it's that deep, so I don't really know if that's a reason. Maybe to like end Kufa's character arc, she'll reappear or something like either as in, come on Kufu, let's go together into the afterlife, or maybe like helping Kufu to like go live with Pasha happily now or something. I don't know. Kufu is her own kind of worms that I'm not sure if I should talk about. At least until I get volume 13. I believe that's where Goofer is on the volume cover, right? Volume 13? Yeah, right. Until volume 13. That's a future problem. Or maybe we'll make a clone villain, who knows. So yeah, Kufufu, so yeah, that's basically what I think could happen. Now to some other aspects, like her relationships. The only two that I really should mention are Kufu and Pasha. Kufufu and Tzveta, let's start with them, because again, also, like, it doesn't matter which one it is, both of them is extremely important to the story and the characters. Kufufu clicked with Pasha really quickly because Kufufu knows that Tzveta was never smiling. She wants to make everyone laugh, so she hang around Tzveta to make her laugh. The thing is, she never made Tzveta laugh, but she did, but Tzveta did kind of get a liking to her. Kufufu refers to her as a friend, and Kufufu refers to and Tzveta refers to them kind of as friends, and they even have like very fun bickering. Like again, you should see it; it's very funny. How they just kind of start having a fan bickering contest during the fight. Not even bickering, just like Tzveta, comfort Kufufu. Kufufu may not be hurt, but she still wants the always to go away. So yeah, there's a bit of that, but it's not. But it's I kind of like to think that from Tzveta it was more like a motherly instinct because again, Kufufu to me it feels like the youngest member. Well, in how old she is, like the youngest in terms of age. So I kind of get that as well as how she behaves and acts and everything is. So I kind of feel like Tzveta was more like a even if it was not directly said, I kind of got like that. She was a mother and now she gets this girl who's basically like a child that needs to be taken care of. And this also again foreshadows the relationship between Pesha and Fukufu. So yeah, we get that. So they had moved like that relationship. Well, Tzveta at least I think had a more maternal instinct towards uh, Kufuor, and yeah, they were very sweet again. I do wish we would get to see more of that. Since again, it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, I know there was a time skip, but when did this like connection happen between the two? Because like I think it was like one of those Tzveta, well, Pasha needed time to recover, and I guess at that time, Kufuor and Tzveta became best friends, or so. Well, I kind of joke on that being more like grandma and granddaughter situation, but you get what I mean. And yeah, and that, I kind of question that, but whatever, it's sweet. Now, anyways, we have her actual daughter, the one that actually, like, not the weird, possibly not one, the one that's official. That's Pasha. The relationship again is really sweet, and it's really clear that it kind of like wants to hurt, hurt you on your heartstrings. Like, when you see them living together, when you see how miserable it is, it's a really it's one of those things that really makes you want to pick up your phone and call your mother. Like it's one of those you really question your behavior towards her. Like it's one of those moments. It's like really sad. It's like one of those if you feel like it's one of those where you really honestly, I feel like it's one of those where if you and your mother have like a bad relationship or something, you probably would want to watch this before Mother's Day or on Mother's Day, so you could then like get yourself more in the mood to, be nice to her on Mother's Day or something like that. Like that's what I feel like. I feel like a lot of people. I mean, a bunch of people I think commented like, now I feel like calling my mother kind of situation. Like that's what I would say it is, and it's very nice, and you can see that they do love each other. And it's nice that they got their relationship resolved, and yeah, it's a really nice relationship. Now on to Tzveta's design. Tzveta's design is simple and works. Like she's supposed to resemble Spirit. Spirit looks like again waifu, so Lila is gonna look like a waifu. All the tragedy aside, but yeah. And even as a villain look or Tzveta look, what I do question on the age. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's the anime's fault or whose fault it is, but that figure did not look like a figure of a child, if you ask me, at least. It was very nice. I feel like what is like latex. I want to say latex is very similar, like latex full bodysuit with a bit of like a scuffle around it, and a little bit of like a hoodie on. Kind of reminds me of a Black Bull's robe now that I think about it, with that golden black theming around it. And now we have powers. Tzveta is an ice user, bass power. fight me on that. No, you can't because ice beats everything. No debate. So she's very nice and it kind of really works for her thematically and showing things like, stopping aging by, freezing everything over, very like very nicely looks. The it just works kind of deals. Like it's really poetically it makes sense. A very good like start, and I think it's another thing. It's really I really appreciate how Ryuku's groups has like really like uses powers they may be used, but like as common. Like ice is used frequently. It is often used in series, but let's be honest to ourselves, it's usually longer series with very where like one guy uses ice, and I really do appreciate. It's honestly mostly in the beginning as well, but I think Laya does use ice in a very unique way, and Laya is again a very good. Uh, yeah, it's. I mean, she doesn't use it in complicated way, but it very much sets the mood. Kind of, it's very much dull, implicit at what's going on, and very nice build up. Even her motives for it really works for her motives. It's also this kind of sick feeling of the wait. She died by getting frozen over in ice, and now she has ice powers. Kind of gets a bit of a wait. It's like a bit of a kind of weirdly weird power ability. I kind of want to know. So this kind of is no hints that there are other members dying by their were also killed because of their powers related. But I don't think that's the case for all. I think that's just kind of Lila. I mean, there are probably awesome also again. Most of the Amara Ryaku's deaths are not even translated outside of Japanese, from what I found. At least on manga decks. Like I think on manga decks, only two others are that, while in the Japanese, like over half of them are that. Which funny enough, I don't actually think a lot of Amara Ryaku's are corpses. I originally thought when I was like first learning the story, I first thought that all the Amara Ryaku were corpses, but I think majority of them are alive. It's just their rings were completed. I'm not going to set it again. I mean, I have to reread it again and most likely rewatch when the second core. I think second core is coming out. But yeah, I think yeah. So and closing statements. Tzveta is a really great antagonist. I would put her in like a 6 out of 10. It really, she really, she's establishes how the America could work, and it's not even like how bad, like just showing the power levels. Like it really shows the story and how these characters are gonna develop and progress. It's a very nice start. There's also uh, her foreshadowing, her connections with some of the most important characters, being Pasha and Kufufu, in the story is very nice, and it's again sweet. It's like call your mother kind of stories. It's like whenever you rewatch it, you're gonna feel something about it. Like it's definitely going to make you teary eye at least. Like this is like definitely one of those memes where it's like, I watched this without shedding a tear. Like, oh my god, you're so impressive. So yeah, you'll definitely if you'll get that kind of moment here. And yeah. Anyways, I hope you like my discussion of Tzveta and technically also a Christmas special. But yeah, anyways, I hope you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future. Don't forget to also leave a suggestion if you have any villains you want to discuss in Inmates of Hell. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.